Hello friends. Fenix E35R, the 5th generation in the line. If the first one had 225 lumens and 18650 batteries, then the Fenix E35P is 3100 lumens of brightness from the CST70 LED. This is 21700 batteries at 5000 mAh. This is a tipsy charging, a magnet in the end. Full minced meat by current standards. There are also shortcomings. I'll show them to you. Let's take a closer look. I can only show you the packaging and the kit in the photo. The manufacturer sent me a flashlight, one of the very first that they had in stock. Then there wasn't even a package yet. And here in the photo you can see that the design of the flashlights has changed quite seriously, but the last two versions look the same. E35P only increased in length by 2 mm. And with 12 cm of length, this flashlight is quite convenient both in your pocket and in your hand. And the design, again, remained the same. It can be seen that this is a branded flashlight, but no more. The design of the flashlight is simple, not memorable. There is nothing special about it that would set it apart from other flashlights. For example, there is a Fenix TC35UE and this model is not to be confused with anything. And Fenix E35P is just a good-looking workhorse, and for the mass of people this alone will be more than enough. There is a magnet in the tail of the flashlight. It is powerful enough to hold the flashlight horizontally, even when there is a battery inside the flashlight. Everything is fine here. The clip is one-sided. It is removed and put on with reasonable effort. You cannot be afraid of damaging the anodizing, but I think the clip should have been made two-sided, because the flashlight has a comfortable grip, but the knurling is very shallow, and she's not particularly tenacious. And just a double-sided clip would improve the reliability of the grip due to an additional layer. There is no spring on the side of the head, there are springs only on the side of the tail. And it is quite expected that the head of the flashlight here is only symbolically wider than the body. There are no cooling ribs, and with such a combination of head sizes and brightness, they would be no more than a decorative element. The button looks nice. I like the color scheme, and the button is easy to find, despite the fact that it is quite small and flat. The manufacturer placed it on top of a flat platform and it simplifies everything. There is a red-green charging indicator. In general, it's a normal button, there's nothing to complain about. The charging connector is located as usual on the opposite side of the button. In our case, this is a Type-C. The charging connector is deep, the lid closes tightly and opens easily. Everything is done right here. A complete 21700 battery for 5000 mAh is charged in 3 hours. It could have been faster, but it's fine. The bezel is smooth, with the same coating as the button. Beautiful bezel, beautiful button. Under it is a shooting range lens. The manufacturer claims that it is some kind of ultra-thin, but judging by what I see, this is the most common lens. The LED here is CST70, the same as it was in the previous version. Nothing new. The management is the usual Fenix. Long presses turn the flashlight on and off, short presses change the brightness, and holding from the enabled state triggers the sling. And there is a cool feature here. For once, I have something good to say about Fenix management, which I find extremely primitive. So, if you lock the flashlight and then turn it on, the flashlight will turn on at minimum brightness. They blocked the flashlight, unblocked it immediately at a minimum. It's wildly convenient if you turn on a flashlight in the middle of the night. Well done Fenix. Well done, they could. Luminous CST70 LED has good brightness and good range, but it has its own trouble. It has a green tint at the lower brightness levels, and Fenix E35P did not escape this. But this shade will do fine here at the level. I used a flashlight live and it didn't bother me in any way. Here I saw this departure from the reference line only after checking the light with a special tester. In general, it's fine. The target audience of Fenix will not notice anything at all. The flashlight reacts sensitively to cooling. In the presence of wind, it will go to a level above 50% of the maximum, that is, even above the high level. And Fenix really worked very well with active thermal control. Here the brightness goes up and down, but quite a bit. And the brightness close to the maximum will hold for a conditional half a minute, which is very, very good for a case of this size. In general, you will have about a minute of good brightness, and what to hide, I expected that everything would be worse. Fenix, I think we managed. Well done. The active thermal control I mentioned is when the flashlight heats up, the brightness drops, the flashlight cools down, the brightness increases again. And it is really difficult to make an active thermal control in a normal form. Many manufacturers cannot cope with this. The brightness goes up and down, it's just 30 to 40% there in such a huge zigzag. And Fenix, I think they were able to do this thermal control in the form in which it does not bother at all. Well done. And I consider Fenix, let's say, not the most technically advanced manufacturer. And they have some interesting solutions, but not in terms of thermal control. Here they pleasantly surprised. The actual light. The light here is wide and the side illumination is dim here, but the brightness of this side illumination is enough even at the lower levels to see what is under your feet. And actually, about these junior levels, the eco mode of 30 lumens is quite a good level in itself. Its brightness is more than enough to somehow break through 10 or 15 meters there. But in some situations, when working indoors, this brightness may even be inconvenient. It will be too redundant. Conditionally, you turn on the flashlight in the middle of the night and start working there somewhere nearby. Here 30 lumens will not please you. Definitely, there is again a lack of some insignificant level of brightness, some kind of firefly. As you can see, in terms of range, the flashlight in general completely covers 150, 200 meters in turbo, and I think that for such optics and for a flashlight of this size it is very good. Here the light is both in brightness and in the entire selection of modes, except for the missing minimum, absolutely minimal. I do not have any bad impressions. Everything is fine here in this regard. The light is comfortable, good, and overall Fenix E35R I think was a success. Fenix was able to make a good, by modern standards, pocket flashlight. It has an impressive brightness, which is more than enough for all your usual needs. In terms of duration, too, you will have enough, and this is normally stabilized brightness with normal, which I was pretty surprised by, active thermal control. The light itself is not devoid of the expected green LED from Lumious ST70 in the lower modes, but it does not bother me. It doesn't jar. And for any representative of the Fenix target audience, this brightness will be invisible at all. It is quite possible that an ordinary user, namely, they consist of, is the target audience of Fenix. They make their flashlights for them. So, an ordinary user does not even know that there is some kind of green shade there, that there are some flashlights with non-green shades, that there is a color temperature at all. Could it have been done better? You can. Will it come off as it is? It'll do. The flashlight sensitively works out cooling, with which you can work even above the high mode. The flashlight has a Capacious 21700 battery, there is a tipsy charging, there is a magnet in the end. In general, that is all you expect from a modern pocket flashlight. In general, by the standards of the Fenix, this is a top-end flashlight, but I do not find it suitable for myself. Here is a Fenix E35R, like almost any flashlight, would give to my Bata. Dad has said more than once that he doesn't care about the color temperature at all, he doesn't care about shades at all, about the flexibility of control with instant access to minimum and maximum brightness. He needs a flashlight bright, reliable, and without problems in management. Well, it is highly desirable that there is a regular, and not a native built-in charging. And that's it, he has no more requirements. And so for thousands of ordinary users like my father, Fenix did, do and will do their flashlights. These lanterns will serve faithfully for a very long time. I know from a major dealer that Fenix has a very low percentage of defects. And I quite believe it. My very first flashlight is a Fenix Hole 25R, it is almost 10 years old and it works like new. And the rain and the frost and the fall, he survived everything. Well, I have other examples there. I really think that Fenix is a very reliable manufacturer, but I rate the management of Fenix extremely low. That's why their flashlights don't fit me. For me, this is the most important problem. Someone considers their management simple and convenient. For me it is primitive to the extreme. That is why I do not find almost any Fenix flashlight unsuitable for myself. But is it bad that Fenix lanterns fit my father and don't fit me? No, that's good. Everyone will get what suits him the most. Although I believe that Fenix could well make two switchable control lines in one flashlight and hold both audiences at once. It's totally real. In everything that does not concern management, I repeat, the flashlight works as it should. That's it,